It's easier than you think to take an epic vacation. We're talking about one that you're never going to forget that will make your Facebook stalkers cringe with envy. I had a talk with Men's Health magazine editor Peter Moore on some ways to plan those unique and exciting once-in-a-lifetime trips. What is an epic trip? Is an epic trip like, hey, Disney with a family, or are we talking about something else here?
Well, listen, I don't blame anybody who leads a stressed out life if they, rent the condo, like soak up the sun on the beach for 8 hours and just chill out with a margarita. But what we're arguing for in a piece in the June issue of Men's Health is that really you ought to be focusing on some epic vacations too, where you take a look at something that's a personal challenge to you, something that maybe you've been curious about, but you've been kind of nervous to try it.
Okay.
Maybe something that you have to actually get in shape for before you take off on that vacation. That is kind of what puts you into the epic range, meaning it's a personal challenge. You're going to have to push yourself to achieve this, but it's going to be awesome once you're back.
So whether it's biking some incredible place in another country or climbing a mountain or hiking or something like that, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about epic.
Yeah, exactly. Something that maybe takes you out of your comfort range, but it's also going to stoke your adrenaline, maybe give you a sense of personal accomplishment that you didn't have before. Like all of those things can turn it in from a vacation where you're just kind of fighting stress and relaxing to one where you're pushing yourself, achieving something new, and maybe redefining who you think you are.
And now that I'm hearing that, I don't know that that's necessarily a trip that I would take with my family. That might be something separate from what I do from them. Is that what you're saying here?
Yeah. This is the kind of thing where you're going to want to pick a posse to head off for, and that's part of what the article is about. Is thinking about the kind of, like, if your definition of an awesome trip would be to head to hike rim to rim in the Grand Canyon, then not everybody, like your buddy Ted, who wants to go to Vegas and spend a long weekend, is not the guy who's going to put up with the deprivations of going down into the pit of the earth in the Grand Canyon. And you have to be smart about who you ask to go on a trip like that.
And once you know who you want to go, you've got to get them on board.
Exactly, and that's why we give some pretty smart advice in the article about you need to say you want 4 guys to come with you. You need to pitch each of the guys separately. Women the same thing. So, oh, you started a new job, you owe yourself a reward. Oh, you've just come through a bad divorce. Let me help you recover from that by taking this epic trip. You've had a health scare and came out of it okay. You know what? None of us are going to be on the planet forever. You need to take this trip with me. If you can craft your pitch to something that's going on in your buddy's life, then so much the better.
Yeah, where no one can tell them no, including themselves.
Exactly. It's kind of, and the fact is, I believe this. We need to reward ourselves. Our lives are not infinite, and we're all going to do a lot of work in the office. If you can find those 2 weeks where you can get away, take this epic trip, convince your spouse to do it, it could be the best thing you ever did in your life.
Work with Derek James. It's taking years off your life. You should go on this trip. That's what people say to you, Zell.
No.
You can see the full interview, WCCBCharlotte.com. The latest issue of Men's Health magazine is on store shelves all over now. That is the June issue.
That works vice versa for you as well.
Sure.